far corner of Triangle Alley, below the whooshing sound of a sparkling TR-3B, at the edge of a dark forest where lumbering beasts dwell. It's Beyond the Beyond with Tanner Rush.
Beyond the Beyond. From Skeptic to Seeker, John Mack's evolution in alien abduction studies. It's almost black outside. A clouded night creeps in and only the streetlights dot the dark with a pale white glow. The people living in the neighborhood don't realize it, but they've all fallen under a much deeper sleep than normal. And from one particularly dark cloud, a gray metallic shape breaks from the bottom and drops silently over the houses. No dogs bark. No cameras are alerted. It's as if time itself has stopped. A woman awakens to see three small beings at the foot of her bed. She tries to scream but cannot. She tries to run but her legs won't work. A force she can't see the source of lifts her from her bed and rips her through the ceiling, completely intact. She loses consciousness for a moment, and when she awakens, she finds herself lying on a cold metal table. There's a different set of beings here now. They're bigger, and she can see herself reflecting off their large insect eyes. And now she knows the terrifying truth. She knows they've come back for her. The world of alien abductions is so strange that I've found myself having trouble writing about it. The amount of mud in the waters is staggering, and a lot of the first-hand accounts I've tried to take apart just end up, in the end, being made-up malarkey. Even some of the sacred cows in the UFO field will fall apart the more you investigate. If you don't believe me, try it yourself. But there are other cases that hold up even under the most intense scrutiny. There was another man who took great interest in the abduction phenomenon. His name was John Mack, and he was an American psychiatrist and professor at Harvard Medical School. Mack had a prestigious career long before his interest in the subject started. He was a founder of the Center of Psychology and Social Change, whose goal was to address global issues through a psychological lens. Mack also published a book called A Prince of Our Disorder, The Life of T.E. Lawrence, which was a biography of the British soldier and writer known as Lawrence of Arabia, and went on to win the Pulitzer Prize. He also had a respected career as a psychiatrist and psychoanalyst. Initially skeptical on the subject, Mack was introduced to the abduction phenomenon in the late 1980s after reading Bud Hopkins' book Intruders, The Incredible Visitations at Copley Woods. He later met Hopkins, who introduced him to individuals who claimed to have alien abduction experiences. Unlike many others in his field, Mack approached these stories with an open mind and listened intently. His style differed from Hopkins, in that he was a trained psychiatrist and was not only able to analyze the stories presented, but was also better able to understand the emotional and psychological impact. For the next 12 years, he interviewed over 200 people who claimed to have been abducted. He sought to understand not only the psychological and emotional aspects of these encounters, but also the spiritual. Mack wrote 2 books on the subject, Abduction, Human Encounters with Aliens in 1994, and Passport to the Cosmos, Human Transformation and Alien Encounters in 1999. Both are considered seminal works in the field. His work inspired controversy, and Mack faced criticism and attempts to discredit him with the academic and scientific community. Carl Sagan, perhaps that era's Neil deGrasse Tyson, was an outspoken opponent of Mack. Susan Clancy, author of the book Abducted, How People Come to Believe They Were Kidnapped by Aliens, was a psychologist and perhaps the antithesis of everything John Mack wrote about. Her claim was that social and psychological factors could influence a person to think they were being abducted by aliens. She maintained a skeptical perspective that looked at suggestibility, sleep paralysis, and false memories. Harvard University, where he taught, faced pressure due to the work Mack was doing. Some colleagues and professors reportedly expressed concerns about the school's association with someone like Mack. Mack suggested that alien abductions should be taken as the truth, that whatever these people were experiencing, and no matter how outlandish and fantastical it seemed, the phenomenon should be looked at with a serious lens. He believed that the experiences had a deep psychological and existential significance, and often led to extreme transformations for those that were involved. He criticized the materialistic view of modern science and suggested that alien experiences were something that are not quite easily quantifiable. That whatever is happening, it must be approached with an open mind. Was he getting closer to the truth? On September 27, 2004, John Mack died after being struck by a drunk driver in London. The driver, Raymond Chakowski, was found guilty of careless driving under the influence of alcohol and sentenced to 6 months in prison. Mack was in London for a crop circle symposium, and while his death is thought to be just a tragic accident, one has to wonder if that really is the case. Some have speculated that the event was orchestrated to keep him quiet, to extinguish the work he had been doing for the last 15 years. But that type of thing never happens, right? See the links in the description below. Have you been abducted? Message Beyond the Beyond 1 on Instagram.